Welcome back to Flexbone 101. Today we have a very special video for you, something that after cutting up the Navy Notre Dame video, I was really interested in creating. I wanted to take a look at how Notre Dame defended Navy out of their base 4-2-5. Because there's always an inherent interest in Notre Dame and kind of their ongoing rivalry with Navy, as well as the three high defense, whether that's 3-3-5, 4-2-5, or some combination thereof, is gaining in popularity. I think a lot of us high school coaches are going to see more of it. So I think this is beneficial as a way just to try to get this on paper and start that conversation of how people are defending this. Navy didn't have the greatest game, and some of that might be talent, but I think there's a lot of takeaways in what Notre Dame did defensively that is something all Flexbone coaches could benefit from. So I pulled out a few screen grabs, I pulled out a few clips, just to go over some basic stuff and how adjustments were made in the game. So I'm hoping this is beneficial. Let's see, usual caveats apply, right? I'm not a defensive guy. I might explain things slightly different. Feel free in the comments to, add any input, or if you've seen this or what you would do the same or different. But I guess we'll roll from there. So moving on, we are going to our front. So Navy comes out in a little bit of a slot or a spread look, which I know this isn't our base formation. However, what it does allow is to show us the defense in their base. Since 4-2-5, 3-3 stack are really spread happy defenses, this is the best way to illustrate exactly what we're looking at. And if you're like me, I need to know what the base pieces are before I start moving them around in my head. So to give you an idea of this, right? This is a 4-2-5, 4 down linemen. I believe Notre Dame calls one of their DNs a Viper. Doesn't really matter what you call them, right? You've got your 2 linebackers in the middle, and then you've got your 5 in the backfield, 2 corners, and 3 safeties. So what this looks like, this is the first triple that Notre Dame runs, or excuse me, I shouldn't say the first triple. This is the first triple I'm looking at. So what you're going to notice is if this is, your normal triple rules, you have your first guy, 4-eye or greater, is your dive read, and then you've got the next man outside is your pitch key. So defensively, you've got the D end is a dive player. So he is squeezing in. He is selling out for dive. The play side linebacker is on quarterback, and he's responsible for the keep. And then the safety is, I should say the middle safety, is in run support. He is the pitch man. So notice he's, what is that? About 9 yards off the line of scrimmage. But technically, you would look at this and say it's a 6-man box, but with the safety playing dedicated run support, that's your 7th man. If you remember back to how Georgia and Clemson were defending Georgia Tech with kind of that tower look where you're stacking your inside backers, and I know we've seen a lot of high school teams do it in Illinois. All this is basically just the tower look. They've shifted guys over, but at the end of the day, that safety acts like an inside linebacker who is in the box, and his responsibility is to chase down the pitch. So if we look at how this play is run, you'll notice that we get the squeeze from the D end, the linebacker becomes the quarterback player, and the safety is taking pitch.
Lavatide keeps trying to pitch to the slot back, but fumble.
And you'll notice right off the bat, that's a strong play, right? They're able to cause some, what word do I want to say there? Able to cause some grief, get the ball on the ground. That's a good play for Notre Dame. So next triple play that I pulled out here, you will notice that those two outside safeties have walked up. If you're a D coordinator, what does this look like to you? It's a 4, or excuse me, if you're an offensive coordinator, this is just a 4-4. Don't get crazy because those safeties walked up. It doesn't really change anything. It doesn't change who the dive read is. It doesn't change who the pitch read is. If anything, it just brings them a little closer to the line. What Notre Dame does, and I think this is really important in how they can get away with keeping that middle safety in run support without any pass responsibilities. Oh, excuse me, got ahead of myself. So on the outside, notice that we have compressed receivers. The corners are in man. The safeties that are walked up are manned up on the A-backs. So as the A-back goes in motion, you'll notice that the safety runs straight to him. And what I was getting to and alluding to earlier is the backside safety off of motion then goes to the middle and plays cover 1. So there's always this rotation of safeties based on the motion of the A-back. So let's take a look at what this looks like now.
To get a first down or two to kind of make this an end of the half situation. Lavatai is strung out, and Jack Kaiser
so this is what I wanted to talk about a little bit. So our D end here, this is one of the absolute best squeezes I think I've ever seen. He's able to squeeze the tackle. He doesn't over pursue, and he's able to keep his head in the game and make the play. And you'll notice that the linebacker on this side kind of fills in right next to him, and they're able to make this a really nice play. Most, at least high school DNs, can't do this, which thank God.
Down or two to kind of make this an end of the half situation. Lavatai is strung out, and Jack
so always
Kaiser
having those three guys at the point of attack is really important.
To get a first down or two to kind of make this.
Here we go. So next play that I want to point out is zone option. Frequently, I have been calling these lead options. I just sat on a clinic with Coach Ingram from Navy. I have been mistagging this wrong for years. So A, sorry about that. But B, it does change how the play is blocked. And it always felt a little weird, but I'll probably do a video on zone options separately. But notice that we have we have one safety rolled down. So this is giving more of a 5-2 look, and that he's coming from his corner, and we've just bumped the other two safeties over. So now look, we could be manned up. They could be manned up. They could be playing cover 2. They could play robber. It does give a little bit of a different shell and a different surface that us offensive coaches have to watch out for. The overhang here, I think he's actually technically a D end, is our read. So you'll notice that he is untouched. Our offensive tackle is going to go through and should have a key block on the inside backer. Our A back is going to arc outside and should have the play side safety. And our B back is actually going to run the track, and I believe he picks up the linebacker, although if the tackle makes the block, if I recall, it's a great play. The B-back still picks him up, but I don't think it's as good as it could have been.
Chipman, Ty Lavatai, the quarterback. He will pitch it. Game.
Right, so we get everyone stood up.
Bit of action here.
And if you'll notice,
quarterback. He will pitch it. Game. The slot backs.
Yeah, we just no one picks up the backside.
He will pitch it. Game. The slot backs. A little bit of action here.
Anyway. So that's important. So we have another zone option. Again, safety or what is that? Field safety is down on the line of scrimmage, giving a different look. This time we have a new wrinkle. So instead of pulling or putting the X or the receiver on the corner to block, we are going to influence this, especially if they're in man coverage, by sending the receiver to block that play side safety, because if that corner is manned up, he's going to follow that receiver, and then we're going to be able to have more hats at the point of attack, and actually send the B-back out to block out that corner and create a bigger hole. On this play, so notice we're into the third quarter. I think I might have to blur the scoreboard, but this is the beginning of the third quarter. You'll notice that Navy starts running out of no motion, and that is so that the defense cannot adjust and tee off on which way the play is going. So that's another feather to have in your cap if you notice that teams are keying on your motion. Let's see what this looks like.
First half. From the 40,
so we get the ball pitched, we get the corner. Right, he wasn't able to kick out the corner completely, but is able to hold him up just enough. Now, looking at this three-high safety defense and how they're going to defend the pass. I talked about it slightly earlier, but you'll notice here we are in a trips look. By we, I mean Navy. So we've got both A-backs off the line to the left. We have moved the boundary safety into the field. So we've got one safety manned up on an A-back. We've got the corner on the receiver. We've got the other play side safety on the A-back. And this play is very interesting because right away, Navy has the play side A-back coming down into the protection as they roll out the quarterback. Once Notre Dame sees that the manned up A-back goes inside, his eyes snap to the backfield and winds up taking the B-back, right? So they've exchanged responsibilities. He's got number 3 in man. So you'll see him come down to attack the B-back, but then as the B-back goes flat to try to block, you'll notice that the safety also goes flat. So that's how they're playing protection, because they know once the B-back is starting to block, he's not going out for a pass. So they're able to bring that safety down into the flat to prevent the quarterback from running and causing a big play. You'll also see that the play side linebacker is going to come straight through the middle, which I think Navy chooses to give up here because they know they're rolling the quarterback out.
Assignment to get, but he's out there. Arla on the run with the throw.
So get a good,
there's a completion.
Good
for
little
Navy
completion
for the first
there.
time in 8 quarters.
Next, so we have another adjustment to trips. You'll see that we have one linebacker, and I should have mentioned I was just looking at depth charts, so hopefully none of these players changed positions. But per the Notre Dame depth chart, one of the linebackers is on the line, and then one of the safeties is on the line. So you'll notice that the defensive backfield looks a little different than normal since you're missing a safety and a backer. However, Navy is backed up here. The linebacker is a straight quarterback player. He has no pass responsibilities. He has no other responsibilities other than to get to the quarterback. And you'll see how much trouble that is. And I don't know if they didn't communicate the different lineup. I don't know if he just wasn't accounted for in some way. But that linebacker at the top of the screen makes a huge play here. Right, causing a bad pitch. You've got a bad relationship. And that's a safety, which I think running a B speed option backed up on the goal line is a ballsy choice. Don't know if that would have been mine, but that play looked a little doomed from the start. That might be on the quarterback needing to get his eyes on the read and pitch it faster because it looked a little slow developing. But it happens, right? So next, those are the main clips I wanted to show just on, how Notre Dame's reacting. But I did want to just point out formationally and situationally two instances. Just, if you're a defensive guy, maybe you're watching this to analyze the flip side. So this might be a feather in your cap that you can use later on. This is 4th and 1. And you'll notice that Navy is in a tight formation. So both receivers on the line right next to the tackles. The way that they have shifted their defense. So on one side, they have the linebacker, and on one side of the line is the linebacker, and the other side is the safety. Just like we saw when they were backed up before. So that's Notre Dame's answer on short yardage and backed up situations. However, with those receivers brought inside, notice that the cornerbacks are just outside of those. So they're still going to be manned up, but they are outside, which usually means Notre Dame has Navy. Too many N's here. The dyslexia is not good. This is why you see a lot of the academies running zone dive out of tight, because they basically have an extra hat if you include the receiver. Just running forward with the A-back, and the cornerback's responsibilities are still to stay outside, so he can't get caught looking inside. And the last thing to adjust to, or just to show you out of this, is out of heavy. So you'll notice that the one of the A-backs is split out into the slot, but both theoretical receivers are in over. However, one is down as a tight end. So this is an unbalanced formation over to the offense's right. What I thought was interesting is they still are keeping a safety and a corner on that far side. So they're not matching those numbers because they have another safety that they can play with. However, it does give Navy an extra guy to the play side, to the heavy side, I should say. But just know, as a coach, you'd want to check those responsibilities to see who has run and who is bailing in this situation, because a lot of teams will mix up those assignments of the corner or the safety, because they could blitz that safety out of this look, and it would be really hard to deal with. So with that is there we go. That's a quick video on how Notre Dame played Navy in their 4-2-5. Really excited. Hope people have some input as far as those option responsibilities, the pass responsibilities. If any flexbone coaches have good ways of defeating the three high safety defense, would love to hear those. If this is something that's interesting, I'm happy to do more of. But I think that's all for now. We'll see you next time.